has come to a point where no one in my life truly knows me. And you would expect that, and after a while, it'll only be yourself that knows yourself, right? But to be so disconnected is very disconcerting, even as someone who probably preferred me for a lot of reasons, lots of reasons. But, I have online friends, sort of. Yeah, to an extent, some more than others, same as real life. Instagram, Facebook friends, people who follow me on YouTube for God knows what reason. But this is gonna look extremely weird, but I don't feel like explaining it because that'd be actually better because there is an explanation. Whatever. I am gonna get the weird part out of the way first. I was a virgin birthed by sperm donor fathers. What do you even call that? Like, my mom was like, hey, that one. Bro nutted in a cup and called it good. I hope he wasn't drunk and on Molly when he did so. I have 12 half siblings. His sister is a fucking bona fide genius, just like my grandma. And so, my parents are both gay. How do I exist? I'm an affront against who knows what. I don't know, dude. I don't know. It's a bit strange, isn't it? Schizophrenic's gonna be like this guy. This is the guy. Yeah. My dad's a bit of a no, a little bit mid at best. That's so bro. Even so, no. There's this anime called Naruto, right? And the main guy, he meets his dad at one point. Spoilers, sorry, get destroyed. And he punches him and then cries, like. But it's like, yo, it's my dad at the same time, you know what I mean? So, that'd be me for real. He's like me. My ears are cracking. Don't know why. Don't know. Then I was an introverted single child homeschooled person who I crunched the numbers. I crunched the numbers. I got 10%. So imagine if for every 10 interactions you got in school, like socially with anyone, or like just period total, like total with public school being the main boost to that, you just got one of those, actually, though. Like at summer camps, I had, I don't know, a lot of childhood was just growing up in the middle of the woods in like California, USA, like a little pampered much, in the middle of the woods with dogs as friends, so you could see how it might be a little bit freaking weird. Also, ADHD would be in there. Forgot about that almost. And insomnia. Like, my face was all messed up. Like, I don't know if always, but like my teeth and like nose and tonsils and everything was just like a pug almost, but hotter. Shut up, dude. No, it was quite horrendous, terrifying even. Hopefully the fan isn't killing the audio. Sometimes it does do that when it's doing its thing over there. And over there now. Yeah, why am I pacing? I need to sit down in a second though. Change of plans. Dose. Oh, and then my best friends, or no, my first friends, were I don't know, of African descent, I guess you could say, female, and then gay later to my revealing. I was like, oh, yo, that's crazy. I'm truly a liberal. I am. I tested more Gandhi, or more liberal than Gandhi, anarchist liberal type of thing, but I don't really like that. My current opinion on politics in this very moment is fuck all politics. Nah, just I don't really like all that. I don't do that. Do you not though? Are you sure? Because it sounds pretty liberal, dude. No further questions. Um, so homeschooling was weird with like this because we get the mitochondria from our female ancestors over and over and over and over in our brains. Our neural mitochondria. Our brain cells are our moms in a big way. The mitochondria have the powers of the cell. After all, they got a lot to do. You get the Y chromosome from dad, but whatever. So that, like, I couldn't tell how smart it was, but I could do some cool things, like read early and actually understand it, not like, well, I won't say not hyperlexic, but like I actually understood. I was like, oh, this body part's like wild, like how does it, because it was anatomy. I was like, huh. And Moby Dick, I remember, it was a good story, so I was understanding something. I could memorize stuff like really hardcore. I had to try though, like I couldn't just like savant it. I had to be like, let me study. For probably the same reason that like kids wanted to catch every Pokemon. Just because it's like, oh, something will happen if I master this. Like, not really though. But you'll feel cool. Do puzzles upside down and estimate distances like perfectly from a distance. Maybe that's how you do it. Fire with fire. But anyway, that wasn't all that impressive because I couldn't do school because of ADHD, it would seem, and probably other stuff. Who knows? I might be one of the most lucidly brain damaged, semi-permafried, reversible, neurodivergent and mentally ill people in the world. Also, most split intelligence. My intelligence is weird. The IQ don't make sense, though. At a conservative estimate, you could say there have been times where like it sucks as much as 90. That could be because of depression or because of chronic neurological infection, like Epstein-Barr. And there's other times where you could say I want to be on the safer side here, so I'm lowballing. You could say like 130, especially in the verbal domains and like fluency. So if I did get those female brain genes, it's going to be like kind of the manic, creative, like out there, sideways kind of types, and verbal too, very fluent types. So that's associated with mania, actually. Now I can sit down. I'm chilling. My body regulates itself in weird ways, or I have to do it. I'll explain some of the stuff if I can when I get to it. Karate was good. It was good to do karate. I had friends in summer school, or summer camp, rather. I didn't ever do summer school. And I didn't have on-campus classes because it was a charter school, so you did like review your paper, do your homework with your teacher every week. And I sucked because I just didn't. I slacked and I was doing other things. Especially when I started gaming. I was a total gamer, but I was like talking and I was yapping and hyperactive and manically up at night. It seems like I have low latent inhibition, which would render you a little bit ADHD, a little bit schizophrenic-ish, a little schizophrenic adjacent, so schizo continuum or spectrum. The Aspie side of the tism, and then bipolar and gifted. So like those people are weird, and it's like, why is that me? But that's bad actually too. And each has its ups or downs. I should say also I'm creative, not hardworking or organized or like conscientious really at all. I feel no obligation or guilt, and it's not always. I've always been low, but I think it got stripped out of me in a certain way. I'm really introverted, as much as I am miserable. Miserable and introverted, and it varies. But I could just be your average everyday person. I could have a strong sense of like justice or morality and fairness, like retribution and balancing of the things, the scales, if you will. So yes, that I will. That's what I meant to say. To being like really disagreeable. So sometimes I get in fights with people, and other times we just be bussing. Usually if we connected over some cool stuff and we're laughing about it, and didn't have to be too much of a big deal, right? Like you're in your corner with a couple people, and you're not having a panic attack. Or, well, I didn't really have panic attacks as a kid, but I was always so anxious, brother. So badly, since ever. And, just reclining so it was comfortable. Doing karate was cool. And then towards the end, it was just respectfully. It was a bit dojo-like, as in it was pay to win and stay to win, so a certain number of years. Everyone got it, so it was more of a communism dojo. McDonald's is capitalist. And no disrespect, other than that, which is unavoidable. People saying that. It taught me much. It was more regimented, and there was a stronger sense of camaraderie than in homeschooling. I realized how desolate I'd been. I thought it really mattered. I thought it was important. Discipline was cool. So I guess in that way I was conscientious, but dancing and breakdancing is something I started to do that same year, 2012, that I finished it. And I had my best friend by that point, too. I met him at the summer camp. Kind of a brother, really, and one other guy who was a little bit brother-esque. They're very different people. Very much so. I don't know how to describe them. One is like the edgy anime character. Like like L. Like L from that Death Note. Not quite as smart, but kind of... Who knows how... No one could tell. It's like, what? He was packing some kind of brain. And then my brother, who's half like me and half not. Like very much so. A decent, magnetism of... we grew as people a lot because of each other, except I was older. And then the breakdancing teacher was as much older than me. So he was kind of a dick. He kind of kissed my girl I was trying to date, and then did date, and then totally had her, and he didn't. But yeah, what was I gonna do? Fight him? I was small compared to him. But also I was crimes all get killed by the world for doing them. Because I punched someone. Oh, assault. I later slapped that guy in his stupid face. You should have answered me when I was dying, and now Shades is missing, dude. He's never gonna see this. Max is an L, dude. I'm not gonna lie. He wasn't, though. He used to be cool. He was cool. Even though he wasn't. He was yeah, bro, you're the bro, though. You're not cool, but you are, though, for sure. I want to be like you. I finally surpassed him in dancing. You know what happened in 2013? Right around the time high school started, and I had my girlfriend, and I was a black belt now, and I was dancing. I hurt myself. My life is just taking off. Hyperextended my back on the trampoline at Jamie's house, and fucking threw it out sparring, and threw it out at a breakdancing battle in a long cypher session with Max. Fuck Max. Sorry, but nah, not really. 2014, I had my girlfriend. I had school. Went to more dance battles that expanded me a lot. I was able to do some performances. And then 2015, I broke up with her because I was stupid. She had a kid, so that kind of created a life. I guess that was good. Someone's alive because of that. That's actually neat. Altered the timeline for sure. In a fucking horrible way. I left her forever. I'm still living that part of time by that measure, but it's whatever now. Because that's the way I do it. It's just gratefulness for that at this point. She married her daughter. She named... never mind. That's not... I shouldn't even... it should be a secret even for... Ignore that. Edit that. He won't. But here's the second way of looking at things. Depression happened because I got hurt. No more school. No more dancing. No more martial arts. School got harder and more pointless seeming as I started to learn and understand it quickly, actually. Being at classes was neat, I guess, sometimes, but, I had friends. Shout out G-Man. But I didn't have her. And I got another girl, and then lost her. And then I was going to end it. Right when it was getting good, too. 2016. November 1st. Slow voice. And that did not happen. So I got 8 more years. Every second is borrowed and thankfully received time. Gratefully and thankfully, I suppose. Yeah. I was listening to Goner by 21 Pilots, sobbing, dude. So I got back with my ex again, then we broke up 7 months later. That was sort of the decline of me. I started to hang out with the coolest group of friends I'd had, the first real group of them, instead of just like, oh, we have bros that hang out. Like, that was goated, but this was cool. You know, it was senior year or approaching for me, and we had a lot of good times, even just on Google Hangout calls. The squad, yeah. And then those were good times. Nothing bad to say about it looking back. I would have them meme about misery persisting but looking nice in hindsight. Wojak. Then 2018 I decided to be a bad person and did that for most of the year. I just hung out with a Russian girl and smoked weed and acted a hooligan and a goon and just smoked increasing amounts of weed because my pain was worsening. I had been dancing from 2013 to 2017, just forcing my way through it. And really stopped hanging out with Max around then, so we didn't really do it as much. I kept doing it, but less and less. I should have stopped. I really should have locked in then, but I didn't. I didn't know a lot of things. My mental health became a question for sure. Anxiety. I'll go over the list in a sec. It's wild. Actually, it's a wild list. It makes me think that I'm all of them, or it's all nonsense, or like it's a certain type of. It's too much. It's too complicated, actually, fundamentally, to explain, technically speaking. But oh well. The end of that year concluded with me. It's weird. I used to listen to a song called 7 Days, which is about that girl who says you'll die in 7 days. I was like really depressed, but I was so alive then, though. Then I overdosed on Trailer Park Ice Cubes with her. At least she was hot, but like nothing happened other than me dying. Essentially, I'm 80% sure I had a small cerebral hemorrhage, hyperthermia. Yeah, I was cooked. I did several things. I barfed with like hard liquor and cigarettes in the back. Yeah, no, not good. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. Started having severe panic attacks after that. 2019, I spent the majority of the year stoned. A lot of Snapchatting people and just being stoned. But the hooliganism decreased, and I became severely scholar-pilled on my own phone. I hate this angle, sorry, but it's all I can really manage right now, and I will try to get to that as soon as I freaking can. I have to hurry. 2019, I really enlightened myself. I tried hard. I woke up. I healed my brain the best I could and learned so much voraciously, like it was when I was a kid. I was always curious, really, but thirst for knowledge is one thing. More dopamine from that than almost anything. It's all underway. Now I think I fried all my dopamine receptors off. I think they're all burned and gone. It's an exaggeration, but it's functionally speaking, like in the head, no, it's not really. COVID started. I was on an antidepressant, and I stopped it, and then I was drinking. And I started drinking quite substantially. I had learned so very much. I felt like Rick. Bro felt like Rick. Okay. Maybe he was, but then he gave himself brain damage and 2 concussions towards the end, and his friend, we both fucked up. But he basically attacked me and beat my ass. Like, even if he didn't do the first thing, which is questionable, and we both claim, I think, equal responsibility, more or less, but rattled me good. Another one of my concussions. I have like 50 forms of brain damage, so I could list them, but then there's the mental illnesses and then all the different kinds of neurodivergencies. And do you consider learning disability a neurodivergence? Because then it'd be like, I'm bad at math. Does that count? I don't know. Probably not really, but depends how loosey-goosey and liberal you are with the definitions. My brain was so destroyed then, so badly. I recovered, I'd say, by thinking about what Jesus symbolized, to simplify it, and by listening to a lot of Terrence McKenna, Jordan Peterson, Chris Langan. My brain expanded, and I was able to finalize a lot of my ideas that I had in 2021. I think my brain realized how desperately it needed to clutch in and what it would have needed to survive an incident like that, and realized it was impossible to ever come back from perfectly, and the true flaws in the nature of reality across many schema. And then I took a little bit of shrooms, and then it was clear. It was like, oh yes, this snapped it all back together, because I stopped doing alcohol, and it was quite almost delusional, and then it became mystical in hindsight with that sort of tail end. The less alcohol, the better, and the less withdrawals, the better, because I would have had a seizure. I was drinking 12 a day for 5 months, at least, So that was the for sure part, and there's more before and after. And then I spent all of 7 months in 2021, and so February to December, but not all the way through, really May to December, in therapy on false premises across the board. That's the most general thing you could say. It was very, very good. To put that way, I got COVID, unfortunately. I don't want to slander anybody, but anyone involved in why that was happening knows what they did and why I shouldn't have caught that. I already had Epstein-Barr. I probably had Lyme disease, and then it got treated, so an exposure. And I have a weird immune system, allergic asthma, didn't breathe a lot too well as a kid. Maybe I had real bad insomnia, and the yapping, and the can't breathe, and maybe the nutrient deficiencies, and blueness at birth. But I know some kids are just kind of like that for real. But all those things aside, I still was able to shine lights places I never would have realized I could. Or I found them. I'm not sure which one really. Yes, or hard to say, or maybe both. 2021, I got dosed with a lot of drugs. Kind of lost a lot of my dopamine spark. Antipsychotics, they call those things mood stabilizers, but they're mood plummeters and brain damagers if you take them for weeks. I'd say over weeks, yeah. Liars. Filthy, sick liars. I came home because a nurse didn't want to I finished everything. A nurse didn't want to give me Concerta, which is an ADHD med. I was finally diagnosed, and I figured out my IQ was all weird. And, there's ADHD there. And so they probably missed some things because they weren't as bad then, like maybe bipolar-esqueness or just the LLI, latent inhibition thing. Three of her superiors were telling her to give it to me, and she refused. It's like, it's at house 2, it's at house 2. It's like, I'm at house 1 though. How many times do I have to ask before it's suspicious and other people are also asking you? She just was terrible. Don't even know why. I would have guessed someone else would have been that way at that place, between me and them. And no friend of hers, that's for sure. But politics of that place aside, I just said, yeah, I'll self-medicate. He said, nah, I would do that. So I went Gojo mode. Baki modo. That was me. I was really out there like that in 2022. And then I decided, nah, I'd die, and tried to, or sort of accidentally did that. I was like, I'm going to die in pursuit of this, because the awakening of my open mind was so much. And then I almost died 4 times in a couple months of 2022. Went to the worst place ever. Borderline got experimented on when I was actively trying to ingest chemicals into my body to mess myself up. I reached 11. They reached 15 first. That because I got there later. They were all strong. They all had interactions with each other. It really caused a lot of damage. Even more than 2021. Even more than the weed, maybe. More than the alcohol. More than the self-medicating. I met some cool people there, though, and went home and enjoyed my 2023 finally with my dog and my fearful of death self and life and mind and body all finally at rest. And I had a great time. I had a really good time. happy 7 months, even longer. Our dog died, and then we got a puppy, and he died. And then I realized I need to tell people about my God idea. I realized we're not God, but it's the pathway that leads to it, so I stopped calling it neurosynthetic Godhood like I damn well should have stopped. And it's neurosynthetic mind transcendence. There's also another name for it, but I have 20,000, and then 20,000 on another phone, and then 20,000 and 20,000 Chrome tabs and screenshots and YouTube videos saved and notes written lots of notes. Lots of videos now that I got this phone working. So much content. So much of it. I'll never sift through it. Because I'm sick. I've been vaping for 3 years. I did it to get an edge on the weirdo guys in the mental asylum. The one time I shouldn't have been at the mental asylum. At first I was like, and then I was like, and I went actually insane in 2022. That was one of the times I almost died. So my body's ruined, wrecked. 5 pounds of weed smoked to oneself, the alcohol stage, the getting beaten up, the many concussions, the damage, the not clear if it's a connective tissue or a spastic muscle disorder or, injuries that never fully healed or now fluid-filled cysts in my spine. My brain, it got, I'd say for months in 2023, I tried to do the same thing that I did. It was for fun at first because I got a bad head start. I could have controlled it easily, absolutely. Then it became, I'd die, and I gave myself substantial brain damage from August to April through every means possible available to me. So now no one knows me. All I've posted is dance videos, and I've isolated. I didn't even mention the mental illness, anxiety, depression, bipolar things, PTSD things, a little bit of schizophrenia things, ADHD. I forget that you're even there. I'm sorry. I don't even know who I am half the time. Dissociation, a lot of dissociation. Oh yes, and insomnia and amnesia. And I'm out of here because this is ridiculously